So let's see how to debate. Now, I always say that there's a format for everything. Now, even for debating, there's a format, and this is it. First, we have formal address, the motion, then the argument, and conclusion. Now, at the current stage, you won't understand what these are, like what they mean, but don't worry, I'll tell you in detail. Now, when it comes to formal address, it basically means addressing the judge board and the audience. For an example, I would say like, good afternoon, everyone. I am blah blah blah. So I am so myself and my team members will point out the advantages and disadvantages of a certain topic. Now, this is basically like sort of a lengthier version of this saying good afternoon, good morning, something like that. You can just than doing it like very shortly, good afternoon, everyone. We are going to talk about this. You can just give something like introduction. Basically, a formal address is an introduction. And you have remember you have to do always do the introduction, the formal address, or the entrance. Now I have told many sort of ways or names that we basically tell for an introduction. You have to always give your introduction like in a strong manner. And basically in a formal address, we are inviting the judge board and the audience to join with us, and the judge board and the audience joining with us is very important in a debate. Keep that in your mind. Now let's see what the motion means.
Excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, Yanali?
The formal address meaning is how to start the debate, no?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, yes. It's you can't. It's not like start in the debate. Well, there's a person who actually start the debate, but this is basically giving you an idea, like giving the judge board and the audience about who you are and what you are going to do. But you have to keep something in your mind. Hold on, let me yeah, say now this part is necessarily like it is not necessary to say it in a when you are the second speaker or the third speaker. Hence, this part is only said by the leader. The leader is the person who speaks first. Mm, First of all, do you know who first speaker, second speaker are? Okay, now it is really simple. It's like it explains in its name. It's basically mainly the first person who speaks is known as the first speaker. So the first speaker is the leader, and then onwards there are some other people who are speaking in the second, third, and like that. But I'm afraid when we are doing the practical, you won't be able to have second speakers, third speakers. Hence, like there are like no like the other students have not joined today. Probably the change of date, but it's okay. So, did everyone understand what formal address is? No questions? You have to understand this thoroughly. Hence this is actually advanced for your level, but you know it's like it's sort of necessary in life. There are some times where you have to argue, where you have to express your opinion, Yeah, in our next lesson, let's learn how we are like giving our opinion. It is like really necessary for our life. But let's move on with debating. So let's see what the motion means. Well, basically, the motion is telling whether the certain topic. Now, for example, if online education is good or bad. Now, example, me and my team believe that e-learning means online learning, has done more harm than good. Now, uh, Yenuli, tell me whether this example, this example is telling that e-learning is good or bad. What is it telling?
That that is good.
Mm, no. Now you have to understand. Now I personally don't like to say this, but when you are reading, you have to understand word by word. When till you are satisfied with your reading skills. Now in here, hold on. Let's take yellow. No, yellow is not seen. Take red. In this part, it is said e-learning has done more harm than good. This basically mean e-learning has given us more disadvantages. Do you know what
Eh,
disadvantages means?
Excuse me, Aya.
Yeah, Andy.
What is the meaning of harm?
Harm. Yeah, I was gonna explain. Harm means, for an example, let's say you were walking in the road. You were walking on the road, and suddenly dog comes to you and bite you, and it has done you harm, like it has harmed you, it has given you an injury. That is a harm done to you physically. Physically means like you can see like what has happened. And it's seeable. But there are some harm that you can't see. For an example, let's say you are buying um, uh, you are buying a candy, not a can. Yeah, you are buying a candy. Um, yeah. When you are buying a candy, you have to pay money. Candy means hold on.
Please.
Give me a second. Someone just entered the meeting.
Candy means sweet.
Yeah, candy means sweet. Um, Now when you buy candy, you have to pay money. Now, when you're paying money, it's a sort of harm done to your parents. Now, don't think about this much, but uh, it's sort of like harm when you have to pay money. And in here, it means when you are e-learning, sometimes kids are exposed to danger and things like that. So, did you understand the meaning of harm?
Yes, Aya.
Okay.
Yes, Aya.
For the time being, let's move on with the motion part. So, in this example, it means e-learning has given us more disadvantages than like advantages. So, as when you see this word good, don't assume that this sentence means e-learning has done us more good. Just you have to read the sentence and get a clear idea. So let's move on to where is that? Okay. Yeah. Let's move on to the argument. Now, before, like previously, we talked about the introduction, then stating whether the topic is good or bad. Then next, we are going to talk about argument. In an argument, we are basically disagreeing with the opponent, or the opponent means the person who you are competing against. Do you know the word competing?
No.
Well, competing means in Sinhala it means තරඟ කරනවා. So the opponent means the person who is in the opposite, like the other team of like in the game or something. So this is like really important in a debate. Basically, debate means, as previously I said, it is basically arguing that this is good and this is bad. Now, in an example, mm, yeah, W has gone missing, but don't worry. Now, let's say we are talking about online education. Now, previously we said it has done more harm than good. So in here now the opposition team is saying now my opponents, now as my opponent said this, and like let's say he said it's bad, we can say now as my opponent said this is bad, but we say it has done more good. For an example, it has introduced many other courses to Sri Lanka, something like that. Basically, the idea is you don't have to like agree with, always have to disagree with the other team or the opponents. So do you understand the argument, Methini? Yenuli?
Yes, I.
Little bit,
Sorry, Yenuli?
a little bit.
Okay, so what didn't you understand?
Uh, some words are difficult for me.
Okay, basically, like, don't think about the words, just get an idea. Now, basically, argument means always like questioning, sort of questioning. Now, let's say the other team member says that um, due to online education, students are becoming lazy. Lazy means they don't like to go walk, don't like to work, and things like that. Now, give me a second, just. Okay, sorry about that. So, come on, everyone, switch on the cameras. Um, that's the disadvantage of having dogs. So, anyway, argument means basically questioning the opponent. For example, let's say the other team member says due to online education kids are becoming lazy. Now we can say no, we don't agree. Kids have become more engaging, uh, like that. Yeah, basically in debate you have to tell lies, sort of like, but don't tell to the judge board that they are lies. That's it. Now, if in a debate, you don't, you never say, yes, I agree with you. If you say that word, you will lose marks. And sometimes you can even be like kicked off the game. Basically, throughout the game, like throughout the game means during the game debate, you always have to tell, no, I don't agree with you. Do you understand that?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I.
So, moving on to conclusion. Now, let's say there are 4 members in a team, and that person, the last person who's speaking, has to gather like every single thing that the rest of the team members said and say, now we have talked about this, and like let's say they talked about 2 advantages of online learning. The last member can say, now we have talked about 2 advantages of online learning, and they are a brief summary, like a brief explanation on those topics. And he can say, and due to this, I'm saying that online education is the best way to learn. So basically, you just have to give a summary and your own opinion on it. Do you understand that? And guys, this is not like a class for deaf student. So speak up. Don't like wiggle your face and all. Okay, so uh, now there are some. I'll give you some tips to be better at debating. First, the first rule. It's not a tip, but the first rule is you should never say yes, I agree. Now, as soon as you say that word, you basically losing like a ton of marks. And the second reason, the second tip is never like never be rude. Like don't act as like don't be angry at the opponent. If you say like do something, you shut up and listen to me. Never. You can't do that. It's not allowed. So you always have to be polite, no matter how stupid things they say, like no matter how angry they might even like act angrily, but